Day 21, Pathankot to Amritsar. I got up by 8 am, but those guys were too tired, so to start our today's ride, it became 1:30 pm, as everyone had to get ready and have their brunch. There and my destination for today was Amritsar, so we traveled together. It was hardly 120 kilometers from here, and we reached Amritsar by 3:30 pm. So we decided to reach Wagah border as it might close in 30 minutes. We reached the Wagah border, saw a board that read Lahore 22 kilometers and India-Pakistan border 1 kilometer. We parked our bikes and kept our bags in the locker as no bags were allowed further. We walked for 1 kilometer and after several security checks reached the entrance of Wagah border. Then we came to know that we had to obtain a pass online before afternoon, which no one said us, and unfortunately it being a Saturday, there was a lot of crowd. Also there was so many people like us who didn't knew about the pass. I could only see the Pakistan gate with Jinnah's photo on it. We requested the army guys to leave us inside, but they didn't. There was a large screen placed at the entrance and they asked us to see the closing ceremony on it. And I was like, if I had to see it on screen, I would have seen it at home, and what's the need to come here? Once the ceremony got over, we left for Jallianwala Bagh. After reaching there, we found it closed as we reached there too late. Finally, we could see the Golden Temple. From there, I checked into a hotel as I would be riding to Bikaner and they would be going to Dharamshala, so we bid goodbye to each other. Day 22, Amritsar to Bikaner. Today's ride was only about ride, as there was no place to explore. Just to reach the destination. It would have been easy if I would have covered at least 100 kilometers yesterday, but anyhow I had to reach Bikaner by evening. Had to face rain many times throughout the ride. The roads were fine to drive. At times had to face heat while riding in Punjab. The route I rode from Amritsar was through Firozpur and Fazilka, which was very close to the Pakistan border. So there were many army movement all over. After a few hours of ride, I was riding at around 70 kilometers per hour. A stone with the size of a golf ball flung from a truck which was ahead of me. The distance was so less there was no time to react. I just placed my hand before my face and I heard a loud noise but felt no pain. Checked and found that the stone had hit the visor and it had broken into two. Thank God it didn't hit me. Still a lot of distance had to be covered. It was getting dark and it started raining. After some time the roads were not clearly visible due to the rain and darkness and the headlight of the oncoming vehicle. So had to follow a car or a bus. In most states like Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, cows roam and sit on the road, so we had to be little careful. While following a truck, it suddenly took a curve on a straight road, and without thinking, I also took the same curve and then noticed few cows sitting on the road. And to avoid that, he took the curve, or else I would have hit them. Due to less lights, I was about to hit the divider a couple of times. As I was following other vehicle, all the mud along with dirt-filled water was on my face. Today I rode around 541 kilometers, which was the highest till now. Was dead tired riding the whole day, facing dirt, mud and rain. Reached Bikaner finally around 8:30 pm. Checked into a very good hotel, freshened up and was very hungry, so treated myself with tomato cheese pizza, fried rice and strawberry milkshake and had a sound sleep. Day 23, Bikaner to Jaisalmer. Had to reach Jaisalmer by afternoon and the roads were very good, which made the ride smooth. Yesterday's climate was cool, but as I was getting closer to Jaisalmer, it started turning hot and humid. Checked into a hotel in which the room was constructed according to the Golden City look. The same hotel had a resort in Sam Sand Dunes Desert. It's always better to book rides from the hotel itself. There was camel safari, dune bashing from Mahindra Thar, Rajasthani folk music and dance. The desert is 40 kilometers from the hotel and I had to reach hotel before it's night. So I chose only to ride on a camel. And it took some 40 minutes to reach the Sam Sand Dune. Few kilometers from there is a place called Kuldara, which is an abandoned village, but I had no time to visit it. Reached the desert and started the camel safari. At the beginning I felt bad for the camel that it had to carry my weight, but made up my mind that it can do it easily. It was an awesome ride as I was riding on back of the camel for the first time. Clicked so many photos and some videos while sitting at back of the camel. My aim of coming to Jaisalmer was fulfilled. Was back on my bike as those 40 kilometers is hard to find any soul, so wanted to reach Jaisalmer before it gets too dark. Reached by 8:30 p.m. to the hotel, and I already ordered them a chicken curry at the time of check-in because they do only it on prior order. The dish was too good, so had some extra rice, and the day was done. Jaisalmer to Jodhpur. Few kilometers from there, the rear tire got punctured, but thank God help came in no time. The very next moment, met two guys and inquired about the puncture shop. They said it is 7 kilometers ahead. The temperature was around 33 degrees Celsius and it was under direct sunlight. I couldn't even imagine that I have to push the machine in that temperature for that long. So I asked them for a tempo, for which they said one of their friend has a Mahindra pickup and they would charge around 300 rupees. I readily agreed and in no time he reached. Initially the driver said the bike couldn't be loaded on the pickup truck, but the two-person who called him tried and loaded it successfully. But it cannot be kept at the back of the tempo without any support. So the two guys came along with me. We reached the puncture shop, but the person said he doesn't know how to open a Royal Enfield's wheel and asked to take it to the mechanic nearby. Took it to the nearby mechanic. He tried to remove the wheel and successfully did it, but he has never done this before. He anyhow tried his level best with all that he had for an hour, and he luckily did it. Luckily I had an extra tube which could be used in this time. I offered him 100 rupees, but he flatly denied and took only 20 rupees and ordered a tea using that 20 rupees. I stopped him and handed over 100 rupees and asked him to bring some cool drink for everyone. After getting a 2 liters of cool drink, which was around 90 rupees, he returned the remaining 10 rupees, which I didn't expect. So took a photo with them and continued my ride. Some 80 kilometers was left to reach Jodhpur and my bike's chain started slipping. I understood that the teeth in the sprocket had broken. Rode with it and stopped by a hotel to have some snacks. And the plan was to check into some hotel, reach Mehrangarh Fort and visit Royal Enfield Service Center to get the sprocket issue fixed. But it started raining so heavily that even after waiting for an hour, it didn't stop. So I left towards the hotel, but it was difficult to reach the destination as I couldn't use GPS and almost all roads were filled with water. By the time I reached the hotel, the fort would have been closed, so I rode towards the service center, which was about to close in few minutes. So I requested them to fix it today itself, as I wanted to reach Ahmedabad tomorrow. But they asked me to come the next morning. Meanwhile, I asked him to just inspect the machine. He said we need to change the chain sprocket and found some oil leakage. Upon checking, found that there is no oil in the engine. Thank God it didn't seize anywhere else on the way, or else it would have been a mess. Had no other choice, had to come back to the hotel as I will have to get my bike fixed tomorrow. It was a slight disappointment that I couldn't see the fort today and get my bike fixed. Nevertheless, there is tomorrow. Day 25, Jodhpur. The actual plan was to visit the Mehrangarh Fort early in the morning and go to the Royal Enfield Service Center and get my bikes fixed and start ride as early as possible. Because according to the plan, I had to reach Ahmedabad today. The fort opens by 9 am, so planned to reach the fort as soon as it opens. Accordingly, reached the fort and got the entry tickets. It took nearly an hour to explore the fort, and the views were good, especially the view of blue-colored houses from the top. Then in no time reached the service center and asked them to change the chain sprocket, disc pads and change the engine oil, and asked the service center guy as how much time will it take, for which he replied it would take around 45 minutes. So I went and sat in the waiting room. After an hour, came down to see what had happened and found the work still going on. Hours and hours passed. It became 1 p.m., then 2 p.m. and then 3 p.m. There was some issue with the disc brake, which consumed most of the time. I was upset that I won't be able to make it to Ahmedabad today. By the time the work got over, it was already 6 p.m. So I planned to ride till late night and reach Ahmedabad by night 3 a.m. Few kilometers from the service center, my bike stopped twice and the pickup fell drastically. So went back to the service center again, but most of them had left for the day. And I didn't want to ride with this condition of my bike as it would stall any time, and what if it happens in the midnight on the highway? There won't be any help available. Also, I was fed up by spending the whole day in the service center, so booked a room in the same hotel where I stayed yesterday. Throughout the day I relied only on orange juice, so ordered some good dinner and slept after the mentally tiresome day. Day 26. The only last place to be visited in this trip was the Bullet Baba temple, which lies in Pali. So before leaving Jodhpur, went to the service center to fix the issue, and within no time got it fixed, and my bike was running as it used to before. I was happy now. A few kilometers from the service center it stopped again. I thought the same problem had occurred again, but checked and found the fuel had got over. Luckily I had some fuel in the can I was carrying. After adding it, went to the nearby petrol station and filled the tank and started the ride. And after covering around 50 kilometers, I checked where exactly is the Bullet Bamba temple and found that I had crossed it and came some 10 kilometers ahead. So I took a U-turn and reached the place, clicked some photos there. After this, the ride was officially over as there was no other place to explore, only to ride back home. And by evening 8 p.m. reached Ahmedabad, and on the way crossed a signboard which read Tropic of Cancer passes through this place. Took a photo and then came to the same hotel where I stayed in the first day of the ride. I couldn't believe that the ride is nearing to an end and how 26 days have passed, but I was happy that I will be reaching home after 26 days. Day 27 from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. This was the day. Just imagine the feel after 26 days of being alone and thousands of kilometers of ride, waiting eagerly for mom made food and my bed calling me. I will be reaching home today. That feeling couldn't be expressed in words. So I was super excited to tell the stories back home. By 7:30 a.m. I was on my bike and started the final leg of the ride. This turned out to be the most boring part of the ride as I looked into the speedometer several times in a minute and it was as if the speedometer had started moving too slowly. But that was not the truth. The eagerness to reach home as soon as possible was making me to think so. I hardly took any break. The Ahmedabad to Mumbai is one smooth 6-lane road, so you will surely have a great ride. There wasn't much rain which added to the comfort of the ride. Just got down from the bike twice in the initial 250 kilometers, after which I got down only after reaching Mumbai. Eagerness as well as restlessness was increasing by every diminishing kilometers. Felt good that the GJ number plates now vanished and I could see some MH number plates. The moment I stepped into Mumbai, it was a mixed feeling that I couldn't believe that I completed my dream ride, finally that too solo. Thank God that I reached safely. Parked my machine, took a winning selfie with it and thanked him, bro, we did it, man. Had a nice long shower, my bed was waiting for me, so jumped onto it. The story comes to an end here after riding a massive 7,000 kilometers and crossing nearly 9 states. It was an awesome solo ride with countless memories, a memory to be cherished for the lifetime.